Right, so I was sort of asked to do a review of the bilingual project from a native perspective and as someone coming from another education system. But before I do that, I wanted to ask you for a moment to try and picture the situation I will now describe. Imagine for a second you're a student. It's sixth period, which means on any normal day that you're pretty tired. It's also Friday, and all you can think about is the lie-in or siesta you'll have as soon as you get home. If we add to this the fact that you've just struggled and been through exam week, then I can assure you that by now you've lost the utter will to live. If, like Elena, sat over to my right, you happen to be handing out a lengthy listening exam to a bunch of 20-odd hormonal teenagers in such state, then I can only bid you good luck and wish you all the best, because we're going to put up a fight. I'm still able to remember that feeling of that day. It was a mixture of feeling of fatigue, annoyance. You could even go as far as saying it was laziness when we were confronted with the exam, which was quite a formidable task, I might say. Yet it was neither these angry faces nor the long exam. It wasn't even the by now aching hand we had after writing at least a side and a half in 10 minutes. If we bar all of the screaming and shouting and moaning from the picture, it was the video itself, the listening video, that would eventually grab my attention. It was titled How Schools Kill Creativity, and it's a TED Talk. For those of you who do not know what a TED Talk is a brief presentation given in front of an audience, just like this, and where a speaker presents a certain topic, a subject, or just his general opinion. In this case, the speaker was Sir Ken Robinson. Now, Sir Ken Robinson is an education specialist at the University of Warwick. He is a professor there. And he touched upon the rather hot and quite controversial subject that is education. I won't tell you all the ins and outs of the speech because it was about 20 minutes long. But briefly, he constructively criticises modern education systems, so that's Western education as we know it nowadays. He says it kills, it squanders children's creativity. Now, at this point, you probably either aren't understanding a word I've said, or you're beginning to wonder what all of this has to do with a bilingual project. In fact, it's very closely related indeed. So here's the point. Whilst the normal curriculum, for me at least, if I might say, would tick all the boxes for being dull, tedious, and quite simply unexciting, the bilingual project, I think in its 10th year running, has developed into all the contrary. In fact, I'd say it's developed into, as I spoke about Ken Robinson before, it's developed into his ideal sort of education. Encouraging a hands-on, proactive form of learning throughout a range of topics, has made the classes much more attractive and endurable. But it's also allowed us to learn a whole lot more. Life skills that we can use later on in our careers. So I want to tell you a short story where you can see these life skills put into practice. I think it was before Christmas time. We're having to do quite a lot of presentations for in Spanish, basically, because we're now doing the bachillerato, which is in Spanish. And you could clearly distinguish bilingual students from non-bilingual students. And bear in mind that this is in Spanish, so there's no English involved. But you could differentiate it because a bilingual student has developed the ability to be fluent, to be accurate when speaking, and most importantly, to carry on even though they've committed an error. So as I said, these frequent presentations in the bilingual project have been, I think, quite essential. So this just goes to show, with this story, small story, that the bilingual project, apart from English, obviously, has also allowed us to develop life skills. Now, going back to the English side of things, I think it's fair to say, and I'm sure pretty much everyone in this room will agree with me, that those 16, 17-year-olds sat over there, the grasp, the ability they have to talk in English and write and listen and understand is, for me, unrivaled by any other school, at least public or state school. In fact, I'd challenge anyone to find a set of 16, 17-year-olds, as I said, with the same fluency, accuracy, and ease of speech as those sat over there. And on that note, I'd like to congratulate all those who have completed the bilingual project, i.e. the students and myself, and also every single person, every adult, every teacher, who in some way or another, here or not, has contributed to our education.
Thank you.